Chapter 1. The Lone Guardian. In the icy void of the Omega Sector, orbiting the ebony star, a pulsing red giant like a dying heart, Kale Draven piloted the Stellar Phantom. His ship, a sleek fighter with an iridescent black hull, was a relic of the Ether Guardians, an order extinct for generations. At 42 years old, Kale bore scars, a cybernetic left eye, a right arm prosthetic of durasteel infused with ethereal crystals. He wielded the Ether, an invisible force balancing cosmic creation and destruction, channeling it through his blue plasma blade. The ebony star was unnatural. Emperor Vexar, supreme cyborg of the Black Star Empire, had corrupted it with forbidden technology, orbital collectors that drained bioenergy from entire planets, turning them into stellar dust to fuel fleets of Eclipse destroyers. 12 enslaved worlds formed the Ring of Submission, living prisons orbiting the ravenous star. Kale had sworn to protect it after deserting the Empire, haunted by visions of dying worlds. Alarms blared. Sensors detected a rebel corvette, the Liberator, approaching on a suicidal trajectory. "Unauthorized intruder," murmured Z3R0, his companion droid, with a sarcastic metallic voice. Kale activated ethereal camouflage, rendering himself invisible, and locked the enemy's engines with an ether pulse. Swift boarding. He stormed the hangar, blade ignited. In the cockpit, he found Lyra Voss, 28 years old, an engineer with flickering cybernetic implants, stolen from Imperial Labs, short black hair, intense green eyes, circuit tattoos on her neck. "Are you the legendary Guardian?" she asked, hands raised. "Zorath, my world, drained by the star. Help us." Kale hesitated. He revealed hacked maps. The next target was Illyria, his home planet. Hook, an Imperial signal flashed on her console. "Traitor on board?" Chapter 2, Vorath Station Raid. They set course for Vorath Station, the Imperial orbital data hub. Disguised as merchants, they infiltrated the labyrinth of corridors lit by red neon. Lyria hacked terminals with her implants, while Kale used ether to bend shadows, making them intangible. "You were Vexar's general," she whispered, seeing ancient holograms of him in black uniform. "Yes," Kale shared his story. 15 years serving the Emperor, until witnessing the sacrifice of the Crown Prince, Vexar's son, cloned for ethereal experiments. He begged for mercy. Vexar laughed. They stole the Stellar Codex, plans to drain Illyria in 72 hours. Chaotic escape. Ebony stormtroopers, black armor with red visors, pursued them. Kale dueled 3, his blade spinning in ethereal plasma arcs, decapitating one with a precise strike. In the hangar, they fired up the Liberator, but Black Raven fighters flanked them. Space battle. Lyra pulled impossible evasions. Kale fired ether-guided torpedoes. Explosions lit the ring. They escaped, but Lyra found a tracking chip in her implant planted by Kale. "Loyalty test," he admitted. Intense verbal clash. "You're worse than them." Hook, Vexar's hologram. Kale, "Bring me the traitor or Illyria dies first." Chapter 3, Smugglers Asteroid. Refuge on Karis Asteroid, a pirate bazaar carved into volcanic rock. There they met Jax Rendar, 35 years old, legendary pilot with a facial scar. Droid Z3RO graded with pirate AI. Quantum ships for sabotage, 50,000 credits, Jax bargained. Kale offered ethereal crystals. Plan, assault the primary collectors, towers feeding the star. Night training. Lyra learned ether basics from Kale, feeling sparks in her veins. "You have Guardian potential." Jax flirted with Lyra, building tension. Key strength, Jax revelation. He lost his planet Thalor to the star years ago, vowing cynical revenge. Mission launched. A fleet of 5 quantum ships invaded the collector sector. Epic battle. Lasers crisscrossed. Asteroids exploded as shields. They destroyed 2 collectors, but Jax was shot down, captured. Hook Z3R0 hacks comlink. Jax screaming the rebel base location under torture. Chapter 4. Shadows of Ebony Fortress. Ebony Fortress, colossal sphere orbiting the star, 10-kilometer diameter, black hull absorbing light. Disguised as officers, Kale and Lyra penetrated. Corridors echoed with cloned slaves' groans. In the clone lab, Kale saw horrors. Rows of his son cloned. A young version of himself, empty eyes. "Vexar betrayed me first." Sabotage. Lyra overloaded generators, freeing 500 slaves who sparked a mutiny. Explosions, blaster fire, chaos. Z3R0 remotely infiltrated, guided them. But traps sealed doors. Neurotoxic gas. Kale used ether to ventilate, saving Lyra. Twist. Ethereal vision showed Lyra as a distant Guardian descendant, mixed blood. They pressed to the core. But Hook, Jax emerges, now cyborg, red blade ignited. "Vexar rebuilt me. You left me to die." Chapter 5. Duel of the Betrayed. 900 words. Collapsing elevator to the core. Jax versus Kale. Blades clashed. Red plasma versus ethereal blue. Jax roared. He promised to resurrect Thaler. Kale shared a vision. Dead galaxy. Stars extinguished by Ebony's hunger. Jax faltered. Organic memory fighting implants. Lyra hacked side panels. Mutinous slaves converging. Jax sacrificed himself. Detonated explosive vest in the shaft. Breaching the throne room. Explosion rocked the sphere. Wounded, Kale and Lyra emerged in the throne hall. Vexar waiting on a floating pedestal. Key strength. Vexar removed his mask. 80-year-old man, wrinkled skin, veins linked to stellar tubes. I save the galaxy. Natural ether collapses everything into black holes. The star devours the excess. Chapter 6. The Emperor's Revelations. 850 words. Tense dialogue. Vexar explained his doctrine. Centuries ago, original Guardians created Ebony for balance, but prophecy foretold universal collapse without control. He cybernetized himself to rule. Kale countered. You drain innocence. Battle began. Vexar summoned sentinel drones, stellar energy tentacles. Lyra deflected with cybernetic force fields. Kale channeled max ether, blade elongating. Strikes cracked the pedestal. Moral twist. Vexar offered alliance. Join me. Protect Illyria. Kale refused, but doubt seeded. The star pulsed, partially draining Illyria. Oceans drying visible in holograms. Hook rebel fleet arrives, but led by an internal traitor. Chapter 7. Battle of the Submission Ring. 1,000 words. Exterior 200 Eclipse destroyers versus rebel fleet of 100 corvettes. Massive space battle. Proton torpedoes. Hangars spewing fighters. Stations exploding. Interior. Kale and Lyria pursued by elite guards. Lyria fully awakened ether, creating dual shields. We're the last. Betrayal revealed. Admiral Thorn, rebel leader, was a double agent. He wanted the star for himself. He bombarded the fortress, forcing Kale's choice, save Lyria or slaves. Chose both, using ether to teleport the group. Thorn fled in shuttle. Key strength. Kale confronted Thorn in personal dogfight, destroying his ship with an ethereal pulse. Chapter 8. Heart of the Star. 950 words. Ebony core. Volcanic plasma chamber. Inverted gravity. Vexar partially fused with the star. Body growing tentacles. You're hastening the end. Lyra hacked remote collectors, reversing flow, energy returning to worlds. Kale dueled, losing prosthetic arm but regenerating with pure ether. Shared vision, apocalyptic future versus restored balance. Vexar weakened. Hook, Thorn returns with stolen superweapon, stellar cannon aimed at the core. Chapter 9. Unexpected allies. 900 words. Cloned slaves, led by Kale's clone named Kai, joined. Kai, you abandoned us, father. Redemption. Kale trained Kai in ether mid-battle. Thorn fired cannon, cracking core. Chain explosions. Lyra stabilized with overloaded implants. Imperial fleet partially surrendered. Admirals seeing visions. Twist. Z3R0 sacrificed itself hacking the cannon. Final voice. Mission complete. Chapter 10. Controlled supernova. 1,000 words. Climax. Kale, Lyra, and Kai channeled collective ether, overloading Ebony into a directed supernova, destroyed the Empire, but released energy to regenerate worlds. Vexar dissolved in plasma. Balance. Restored. Thorn perished in explosion. Illyria saved. Oceans returning. Key strength. Kale passed the mantle to Lyra and Kai, retiring as a hermit. Chapter 11. Lingering shadows. 850 words. Fragile peace. New Guardians formed. But sensors detected Obsidian Star, Ebony's twin, awakening. Z3R0 backup message. More Guardians asleep in cryosleep. Epilogue. Eternal legacy. 700 words. United Galaxy. Lyra leading Ethereal Academy. Kale on Illyria. Training youth. Fade out with new threat on the horizon. The end.